All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Hayes' Hard Drive. Joining me today on the show from Boston, Massachusetts is R&B soul singer songwriter Jesse Dee. How you doing, Jesse?
I'm good, Mr. Hayes. How are you? Thank you for having me on.
Man, I am doing wonderful. Thank you for taking out a portion of your day to come on and talk to us about all the wonderful music that you're making up in Boston.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
So speaking of Boston, what was it like growing up in Boston as a kid?
I grew up right outside of Boston in a suburb called Arlington, and it was nothing special. I was lucky to grow up in a wonderful, loving family, and music was in the house, and they were very supportive and continue to be very supportive of my creative endeavors.
So speaking of being supportive and your family, as well as growing up in a very musically rich area, who or what brought you into the soul R&B music that you have come to love and make a profession?
I think that looking back, the kind of initial culprit was probably the radio for me. As a kid, I grew up listening to the oldies station at that time in Boston, WODS, and I think that kind of left a lasting, lingering effect. So there's lots of doo-wop, lots of Motown, 50s girl groups that they were playing at that time. And I think my love for soul music and older R&B kind of deepened from there. And but that was certainly the initial thing that kind of got me hooked as a younger kid.
Speaking of being a kid, is it true that you would make up songs and sing them into a tape recorder as a kid?
Oh yeah, I still make up songs and sing them into a tape recorder.
Now you make money doing it.
Well, that might be an exaggeration, but I still enjoy doing it for sure.
Doing what you're doing now, and talking to other artists, it has to be something that is fun. And going back and remembering doing that as a kid, and now doing it as an adult, it still, I think, it makes things fun. It makes things fresh and keeps things in perspective. I was reading something that you didn't pick up a guitar until you were 18. How did you learn to play the guitar?
I was when I first picked up the guitar, I was just kind of learning kind of chord fingerings, and so I've gotten a little bit past that. I don't know how I don't know if I've gotten much past that, but more or less I was self-taught and looking towards friends and family for clues and hints as to how to navigate a guitar.
Do you think being self-taught allows for you to be a little more creative instead of being placed in a box maybe that some folks are as they are taught to do things in a certain way?
I think that I guess those are two questions, different questions in my mind. Being self-taught does not allow me to be more creative because if I knew more and could play better, I could be more creative. But I think that it informs my creative process in the sense that it limits me. And I think that great music and great art comes out of limitations. Some people I think can know too much in a creative sense, and maybe that's subjective, as music is as to the listener. But I think that I guess my limitations, I try not to let them hold me back.
You know,
if that makes sense.
That absolutely makes sense, and I definitely see exactly what you're talking about. You know, I was also looking at, you know, you sang in a 10-piece soul ensemble in college, and am I correct?
I did.
The name of the group was Decifunk.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
It
As
was a
in
band.
decibel and funk.
It was more in regards to the amount of people in the band. There are 10 of us.
Okay.
So I'm not sure that the prefix is appropriate.
Now, how do you feel that working, once again, 10-piece ensemble, how did this shape your solo career?
I mean, I think it was all good experience for being on stage and performing and learning how to lead a band.
In 2008, you released your first album, Bittersweet Batch. Talk about the writing process.
The writing process, I mean, I think that it was. I'm trying to remember back. I mean, this would be almost 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
Or I should say over 10 years ago. But the writing process was, you know, a lot of stuff was written ahead of time before we went into the studio, and we kind of flushed out some arrangements in the studio. But it was, you know, it was a collection of songs that I had written and was performing at that point. And I have fond memories of making the record. And,
you know, after this, there was some success to follow. You were able to share the stage with, you know, some artists that you enjoyed listening to as a kid. You know, Al Green, Solomon Burke, Etta James.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
Right. Talk about the success after that album that followed.
You know, if I recall correctly, it was actually there was a DJ that heard some tracks from the record. It was actually through MySpace, and he was a DJ out of the Netherlands, and he passed the music on to two different labels out of the Netherlands, and long story short, was able. I licensed a record to Munich Records out of the Netherlands at that point, and that certainly opened up a lot of European touring opportunities and performance opportunities that I will always remember.
We've been talking with Jesse Dee. We're going to be right back. We're going to talk more with him, but I'm going to take you back to that 2008 album, Bittersweet Batch. The name of the song is Slow Down. You're here with Delane Hayes on Hayes' Hard Drive.
As far as we can, as fast as we can, but we still don't understand the reasons why it just isn't working. At some point we wake up to find we're stacked up on the starting line, racked up all in a row. On your mark, get set, gunshot, go. We build up the speed and then never look back again. We get going so fast that it seems we lose sight of the important things. Happiness, whatever that may mean, friends and family, hopes and dreams. Slow down, there isn't any hurry now. Sit back, take a look around, relax, ain't nothing to worry about. Everything will even out once you go and slow it down. pace, but the fact is that life is not a race, and one day it's all gonna end. So smell those roses as you pass by them. Some folks tend to forget, well, some just never figure it out. Yeah, what you give is what you will get. People do the math now. Slow down, there isn't any hurry now. Sit back, take a look around, relax, ain't nothing to worry about. Everything will even out once you go and slow it down. Now, slow it down. You're moving too fast now. We get lost in the hustle and the bustle, and we make a big fuss over nothing at all. We get caught in the never-ending struggle, never knowing where we're going, why we're even going on, where it is that we think we are. Where do you think you are? Somehow it got in our heads to go as far as we can, as fast as we can, but we still don't understand the reasons why it just isn't worth it. Time keeps ticking along, your heartbeat keeps beating strong, but one day it will be gone, so listen to the beat now. Slow down, there isn't any hurry now. Sit back, take a look around, relax, ain't nothing to worry about. Everything will even out once you take the time to slow down. There isn't any hurry now. Sit back, take a look around, relax, ain't nothing to worry about. Everything will even out once you take the time to slow down. There isn't any hurry now. Sit back, gotta take a look around, relax, ain't nothing to worry about. Everything will even out once you take the time to slow down. There isn't any hurry now. Sit back, gotta take a good long look around. Relax, ain't nothing to worry about. Everything will even out once you go and slow it down.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We have been talking with Jesse Dee, R&B, soul, singer, songwriter, and he has been so kind to tell us all about his journey through music and how he's gotten to the point in which he is at now. He released an album in 2008 called Bittersweet Batch, and you just heard one of the songs off that album called Slow Down. Now, Jesse, we talked a little bit before that you have shared the stage with artists like Al Green and Solomon Burke, Etta James, also Jay Giles Band, Los Lobos. That there are a plethora of artists that you have had the opportunity to play with. Is it surreal to you that you have shared the stage with artists like this that, you know, like I say, we all listen to on the radio and we're so familiar with?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a diehard music fan first and foremost, and so yeah, it's surreal and weird, I guess, in even hindsight to talk about it, but those are wonderful experiences in my mind, and that I won't forget.
As you're playing live with some of these artists, and you're out there on the stage, maybe you're working back and forth with them, is there any type of just nervousness in your own skill as you're out there with some of them, nervousness that things might go wrong or you might do the wrong thing, come in at the wrong time, anything like that goes on within your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that when I'm just by myself with any night of the week without the environment of being in front of someone else's audience like that.
Right. In 2013, in my opinion, the whole entire album, On My Mind, In My Heart, is phenomenal. I can
Thank you very
listen.
much.
I can listen to that album from beginning to end. I've been playing songs off that album since it was released. Was there a
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Was there a different approach with this album versus the first?
I don't know that it was necessarily different. I think it was just it reflected the time since making the previous one. You know, I was had improved as a player and as a writer and as a singer, and as did you know, the dynamic with the people that are recording on the record. Did you? It's just from experience, just from working a lot and playing a lot.
Did you feel as though, and what you're telling me is, hey, look, from 2008 to 2013, Jesse Dee grew up musically, and I learned more. I have more experience. When you got done with this album, you listened to everything back. Did you kind of smile and say, yeah, that's good. That's good right there.
Yeah, I mean, I was very happy with how it came out, and I still am. A lot of what entails, for me anyway, in the studio process, all that effort culminates, and it's nice to sit back and hear the finished product, but then it's nice to put it down and then kind of to keep moving from there.
You know, I've been wanting to ask you this since we began, and I don't know if you can give me the correct answer, but I want the Jesse Dee answer. Why do you think the soul music of artists like The Temptations, Al Green, Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, that not only are they relevant 60 years later, but I know personally teenagers that know all the words to Temptation songs or Aretha Franklin songs. What allows this music, in some cases over others, to continue to just enamor our society, and people just love it so much? Why do you think it still is so relevant today to not only kids, but even you know, like older populations, everybody?
I think it just kind of hits on the old heartstrings, as I say. It speaks to our utmost feelings in a truthful, authentic way, and you know, depending on specifically what music or song that we're referencing. Some of them are hit songs. They're catchy. They've been crafted by artisans of the highest caliber, you know, and anytime you have art created in that fashion, in that way, it can it's no surprise that it can stand the test of time and keep touching people.
You know, I think as I'm sitting here looking at these names again, I believe that every one of those artists, as well as many more, and I'm going to include you in this, I think this music makes people feel happy. It takes them away from maybe a disposition that they've had in their day, and takes them away from that and makes them smile and gives them joy. And I think that with both Bittersweet Batch, On My Mind and In My Heart, you know, these albums have songs in it that take me away, make me smile, and make me tap my foot and, you know, snap my fingers and say, hey, man, today's going to be a great day. It's okay. You know, and I think that that's something that people long for. They say, oh, music's not the same way that it used to be. But you're still making that kind of music. And just from a listener perspective, man, we really appreciate it. We really do.
Well, thank you so much. That's very nice to hear. Yeah, I mean, as a listener myself, I know I need that out of music, and I'm glad to hear that translates for you in that fashion.
Jesse, thank you so much for being on the show with us today. It's been insightful, and we really, truly appreciate you taking time out of your day to be with us.
Oh, thank you so much, Delane. I wish you well and all your listeners, and I appreciate your support very much.
We hope to see you possibly sometime down here with us in North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia. We'd love to see you live sometime. Absolutely. It's the title track from the second album. Ladies and gentlemen, right here on Hayes' Hard Drive, it's On My Mind and In My Heart.
I'm on the road, you're still at home, doing your day-to-day. Well, I'm on my own and you're all alone, too many miles away. Through rivers and roads, cities and towns, countries and continents. But despite what it seems, the space in between us is insignificant. Oh, just like our feet where they touch on the ground, just like gravity. We lift them up and then they come back down. We'll be together wherever we may be, 'cause it makes no difference where we are, or we'll never be far apart. You can take my word, rest assured, you'll be on my mind and in my heart. On my mind, in my heart. The days in a week, the weeks in a month, and the months that turn into years. Oh, they all fly by in a blink of an eye, but they never really disappear. But we're not defined by the passing of time and all of its urgency. Well, we're bound by our love, our bones and our blood, our minds and our memories. Yeah, just like the stars up in the sky, just like the fish in the sea. Just as the moon is through the tide, I am to you, and so are you to me. 'Cause it makes no difference where we are, we'll never be far apart. You can take my word, rest assured, you'll be on my mind and in my heart. On my mind and in my heart. Take my word, rest assured, you'll be on my mind and in my heart. It makes no difference where we are, we'll never be far apart. You can take my word, you can rest assured, you'll be on my mind and in my heart. On my mind, in my heart. I want you on my mind, I got you in my heart. On my mind and in my heart, on my mind and in my heart, always. Baby, on my mind and in my heart, on my mind.